Podcast show. Podcast show. Podcast show. Podcast show. Podcast show. You're listening to Underground. This is.
Okay, hi guys, welcome to the Audiotool Underground podcast show. With me, the Mark West, as your host. This month, my guest is Potasmic, who I'm sure many of you will have heard of and at least noted around Audiotool. He is quite a vocal and social member of the Audiotool community, as well as being a sort of unofficial staff member as such.
No, that's too much.
Well, you know, you do a lot of the coding, like workarounds. You had that Leaf for Audiotool add-on as well until Audiotool implemented a lot of the stuff that you did at the same time. You know, they were working on it as you'd sort of caught them up as such. You just had the same sort of idea, and it ended up being the same. So first off, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah. So first off, then, the name Potasmic, is there any meaning behind it, or is it just something that a couple of syllables you put together and thought, yeah, that sounds quite cool?
Well, actually, it started really long ago when I first used Twitter, and I used to have it as K and MJ, which is potassium and magnesium. But later on, I dropped the magnesium and only has potassium, and time goes on, and I changed to Potasmic.
Oh, cool.
So it's basically potassium because K is actually the first letter of my name.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So then, my next question for you is, who are your biggest inspirations both on and off Audiotool?
Well, it's a hard question because in terms of inspiration, I would like to say that Interaction actually is my most favorite music, but for my music, I actually prefer Sandberg and maybe, I don't know, Luxure, not sure, but mostly Sandbergen for the techno part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And some progressive house, which is the old Luxure.
Yeah. And yet you do quite a lot of stuff outside of those genres as well. Like, you know, I think your last track was a sort of dubstep, bro step type thing, and you've done that pluck you used of a pluck was quite a cool
a bass.
Bass heavy track that, you know, very definitely not house. Yet it was down at a house sort of tempo, which is quite unusual for that kind of music, which I thought was quite cool.
Thanks. Well, I actually listen to pro stuff a lot, and I really wonder how they do it. But in Audiotool, if it's possible in Audiotool, so I tend to try it sometime. But I think that in my last track, I only like the sub bass and not the drop bass. The drop bass sounds a little bit stupid.
Okay. Cool. So a question from the community then for you. Caps has actually asked quite a few Caps questions here. She's got favourite music outside of Audiotool. Just was ties into that one there. Do you listen to a lot of stuff that's not from the Audiotool community? Or?
Well, outside of Audiotool, I only listen to stuff on SoundCloud, mostly from Knife Party and some other Sunvox stuffs, but nothing else really. Just some YouTube videos sent from my friends online.
Okay, cool. So again, some more questions from Caps here. Do you play any instruments?
Yes, I play the piano.
Oh, yeah, of course you do. I've seen a couple of vines and stuff of you doing stuff with
Yeah.
with your keyboard and whatnot. Do you reckon that's helped you at all with? Well, I suppose it will have done, but do you feel it's much of an influence in your music? The fact that you know have this kind of musicality as such.
Do you mean like because of the piano that
Yeah.
I have some feelings for music?
Yes. Well.
Well, actually, uh, when I first start electronic music, I don't think that the piano actually relates to me a lot. But later on, it's becoming more of my sympathy with the music, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you mean. It's like it's become more of a part of it, kind of thing. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
I actually hate piano when I was yeah. Well, I was actually forced to learn piano.
Yeah.
P or P. Okay, that was awkward.
Hmm?
No, nothing.
Okay. Have you got any plans to program your own musical apps plugins for Audiotool in the future? Is it again a question from
Well,
Caps?
well, I've heard from Andre that they will implement something that allows us to code our own plugins,
Yeah.
macros. Is that what? I don't know, but yeah, but
Yeah, the
it relates
sandbox.
to yeah, it relates to DSP a lot, like digital signal processing. So I guess I'll learn about it in the future, but
Oh, cool.
right now, not any ideas.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the sandbox feature you was talking about with where you can
Ah,
design and code your own
yes.
plugins as such, but keeping it separate from audio tools. So that if any you write anything that that doesn't really work, it doesn't
Yeah,
make it
doesn't crash it.
it doesn't crash
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
very
Um,
exciting
yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff that's coming soon
in the
from
future.
audio tool. Yeah,
Yes,
it's such
we,
a
we, we
great
we already
feature.
saw it happen, right? Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what was the next question? Again from Caps. How hard was it to resist the urge of replying to all of the comments in the questions section for you on the Audio Underground post? Obviously, you did
That's a
answer a
lot.
couple, but
Yeah, but I didn't actually directly answer this question, but like uh, part of it, like partially,
yeah.
but not all. But yeah,
Um,
it's a huge urge to reply.
yes, yeah, as it is for anybody really. There's things that I've seen on there or other answers that I know. It's like, oh, I can't say that, but
Yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff. There's so many little secrets, kind of thing, that you've got to keep to yourself until you're allowed to tell everybody.
Sometimes you can't even like. I wonder if I will remember the answer later,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Zavrox, Savrox Beats has asked the reverb on your track CNC. When did you get the idea for it? And then
Uh,
Aaron has also added on to that question. And how was it even made?
we made it. Okay. From Aaron. Okay. So I actually answered it on the comment section of that track, but it was actually it came out of nowhere actually. But Inavon Steven actually told me that I should put a chorus plugin before the reverb plugin so it would have less ringings.
Yes.
So yeah, I tried it and then I add more stuff later without having any idea how it works.
Yeah,
It would
yeah,
work. Yeah.
yeah. So question then from me. Where do you like hope or see your music taking you in the future? Is there any aspirations that are music based, or is music a sort of hobby, and you're looking more to go into I suppose the more computer coding and that kind of stuff side of things, or are you looking to merge the two a bit like Andre's done, so a bit of music and a bit of development
Coding.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm actually aiming on coding and not actually music coding, but on networking like sites, websites, and databases. But yeah, audio processing is actually interesting, but it's kind of hard, and I think I need some more of math and physics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And about music, I think I wouldn't actually pursue the career of being a musician, but rather as a hobby, like synthesizer
Yeah. Yeah.
collecting. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So Yaffe has asked. You know it's going to be a
Yeah.
good question when it's from Yaffe, but basically, he
Yeah.
says, recently when he's fancied a sugary snack, he has been buying Mars bars, and he's grown quite partial to them. It's definitely a sugary snack fan. Problem is that he has developed a serious problem with trying to open the
And
wrapper.
to open the
He
wrapper.
can't decide how to get in. He's stuck in limbo, and it's horrific. So what he wants to know is whether he should open at the M end or the S end of the wrapper. It's really important he gets the correct answer for health reasons. Thanks. So, M or S?
S&M.
There we go. Go for both. And yeah, brilliant. That's a good answer.
S. What is sexy man? Sexy. Well, the S actually looks smaller than the M side, so I'll actually choose the S. I don't know. It's just a random answer.
Okay, cool.
I haven't actually planned on like what am I going to answer to this question. I haven't like I didn't even write answers down to a paper or something like that.
that's fine. Right then. His next question for you was did I? I'm gonna pronounce
Doge,
it Doge.
Doge,
Doge. Okay.
but I actually like the pronunciation of dog because it sounds low, and I actually use dog in my tracks a lot, like
Yeah. So
for
did
a
did Dog ghostwrite or collab on his most popular tracks?
no, but
No. Oh.
but Doge is some of the inspiration, like dog and wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to make some mainstream tracks with those vocals and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. I quite find that as well. Like I was recently looking. I say recently. It was not too recent. But at any rate, I've been listening to a lot of Alonso's tracks from his album Droid, and one of the
Ah,
tracks it's under a different title on the Droid album, and I can't remember what it's called on the album. But in Audiotool, it's called well, it's spelled WEF. I wouldn't know how to pronounce that.
WEF.
Yeah, it's a fantastic track, and
Ah,
I've opened it up to have a look at how he makes the little bass in it, and it's a vocal
mm-hmm.
sample that he's cut short and pitched
Oh,
beautifully, and he's got two different basses in there, and both of them I think are from vocal samples. I think both of them are. I know one of them definitely is, and since then
that's
I've
very
started playing
creative.
around with. Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic way of doing things. Do you do that a lot as well in
No,
your
no, no, no,
tracks?
no, not really. I don't use samples to make sound. Well, you actually know Innavon made a track with the kick sample, right?
Yes.
Yeah, samples, samples actually are actually taking over.
Yeah. I've started doing a lot more sample work myself, because yeah, I've just found different ways of using them to make different things and stuff like that, which it can be very interesting. It creates a whole different way of making music as well, which I think is quite
Okay,
cool.
is it ZNS?
No,
Is it?
WEF.
Oh,
Uh, see if I can.
WEF.
Yeah, it's one of the ones from the Droid album. So if you go into
Ah, his
Audio
album.
Tool, no, go into the A Records page
Oh,
on
okay,
their
A
albums,
Records.
you'll find the Droid album, and then you'll be able to see it in there.
Okay,
But
cool.
yeah, it's quite a cool track and quite interestingly made. I thought. So I've tried to reproduce elements of it since then, just to create the bass line or the sound like that with other vocal samples and stuff.
Okay.
So Zone has asked you, I'm assuming it's pronounced pho,
Pho. Yeah, well,
your favourite
actually, in
food.
Vietnamese, you call it pho, like pho. Pho.
Okay.
If you speak English with, if you say that word in English, it's different. But
Yeah.
in my language, you call it pho.
Okay. So
Pho. Yeah.
is pho your favourite food? Because it should be.
It shouldn't be. It 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 shouldn't be like you eat it every day, not every day, but like a lot, so you get tired of it soon. But it's okay. I don't hate it, but it's okay to eat. It's not my favorite. My favorite food, favorite traditional food would be broken rice and some kind of pork, and I forgot the name.
Okay. So Shaky has asked who your favorite artists are on Audiotool.
Well, in terms of music, I would choose Interaction, Sandbergen. I'll think of it later. But in terms of social, I would actually choose Inavon, Several Beats. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm yeah, cool. So here we go. So from there, then we will play one of the tracks that Potasmic has chosen. This is In No Sight by Intraction.
Don't know why we want to carry on. Have you heard of the secret going on? No color can describe. Yeah, no sight of the dream.
Okay, hi guys, and welcome back to the Audiotool Underground podcast show. With me, the Marquis, and my guest is Potasmic. You just heard "In No Sight" by Interaction. So I'm going to jump straight back in with another question from Shaky. He asks, how do you go about composing your tracks? Where do you start?
Well, I start my tracks even before actually touching the DAW. Usually, like when I go to school or maybe go somewhere that I walk, and like you think of melodies when you're commuting. So like if I could like remember my melodies and maybe record it to SoundCloud and put it as private so I can write those melodies onto Audiotool later, then yeah, that's how it start. Then I uh, I grab a synth, I put in notes, and then usually take a drum track and sing it to the beats, and so on. It's usually the bass, like the one you just like my latest track. It's actually start like that.
Okay. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely done stuff like that before as well. Like, just sort of been humming along or
Yeah.
singing along to yourself, kind of thing, and then going, "Oh, actually, that's quite a little catchy little riff or something." You record it on your
Yeah.
phone or, as you said, to SoundCloud, and then try and recreate it later on. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to the Audiotool mobile app in the future. So
Yeah.
like you can, yeah, make your music right there and save it and upload to the cloud, and you get on computer and continue making it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I find sometimes when doing stuff like that, that if I've got a melody in my head, and then if I try and write it down straight away, as I'm trying to work out which notes I'm playing in my head, kind of, on the
Ah,
keyboard or whatever, I start losing the parts of the melody. So
oh, I see.
I have to record it separately, just so that I've done it right. That's what that is, and then I can just keep playing it to myself, so that I
Where do
can.
you actually write it? Like in an app or on paper on music sheets?
Usually it's on the on the app, or
Ah,
I sometimes use Ableton as well. So it'd be one or the other
ah,
basically. But I write it as a MIDI thing. I can't. I used to be able to read music 'cause, I used to play piano and drums, but I can't read it so much anymore. But usually I just
I can.
record it on a phone basically, and then try and write it out later.
Yeah, same for me. Like I can read music, but I can't actually write it on the music sheet. It's confusing and the timing isn't right.
Yes, yes, definitely. I know what you mean. Okay, so uh, again, some more questions from Shaky. You seem to be a talented computer programmer. Do you think this helps you when making music on Audiotool?
Well, making music on Audiotool doesn't relate to computer programming at all, but like I've tried to make a track on wavepod.com. Andre
Hmm.
has featured this before, so I actually made one simple track on that site, which is totally out of codes, which is cool. But I don't think that programming actually helps you in making music. But some theory does. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like reverb and stuff like that requires lots of maths, and I think that Inavon is good at that. But I'm not. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously you've done some experimental stuff before. I think you did. Did you do
Yeah,
a ping pong delay thing as well, or something
yeah.
along those lines? And stuff like that, 'cause it's quite hard to get things like that without some sort of um,
Well, there have
knowledge
been
of the
great
way the drums
experiments on
work.
Audiotool.
Yeah.
Very, very great. Like, did you see Little vocoder?
No, no.
No, you should really look at it. Like, it's in Little's templates. A vocoder, right in Audiotool.
Oh, cool. Oh, I will have to. I will definitely have to have a look at that then. Is that on
Yeah.
the Heisenberg or the Polv or in the
No, 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 no,
manganese?
no. It's like a bunch of compressors and crusher and I don't slopes. I can't remember.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to have a search. Um, Shiki again has asked, what other music hardware and software do you use?
Uh, Okay, so as for hardware, I only have my micro chord keyboard, nothing else, and my Yamaha piano, nothing else, and my computer, of course, as a hardware.
Yeah.
For software, Audiotool, Sandbox, and I don't know, only two of those.
Yeah. With the
Uh,
music hardware, do you ever like record anything from either the keyboard or the mini Korg? Was it a micro Korg or yeah? Either way, the
micro.
Korg. And do you ever record anything like that and put it into your audio tool music?
Yes, yes. Actually, there's a track about it. It was called, I don't know. It was related to dog, actually. It was yeah, chill dog, chill dog. Yeah, I
Okay.
have the link over here.
Okay. Cool. Um, so Tottenhauser has asked. He likes, says he likes the coding experience, the audio tool coding experience, the visualizers and playlist generator that you've created. I quite like the
Okay.
playlist generator as well. Is there any word from the audio tool crew if they will transfer some of those into the actual website and the code there?
No, no. Well, it is not a playlist generator, but actually a playlist fetcher. So, Audio Tool had provided some API points so that you can fetch tracks and albums, and so I used those API and built some codes to fetch the albums and tracks and the informations from it. So it's actually something they release. It's not something that I have made. So obviously they don't have any words to get back to
Okay.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, so it's something that they have allowed people to have access to, and you've just sort of accumulated
Yeah.
those things into one place.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not actually documented.
Yeah.
It's yeah. It's just there, but there are no documents about it, and you just have to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. So on that note, then we shall play another track. The second track that you chose, and this is Quartz by Sandbergen. I forgot to ask you previously why you'd chosen the Interaction track, so we'll do both of them at the same time.
Okay.
What about these two? So we'll go with In No Sight first by Interaction. What about that track was it that made it stand out to you to pick as one of your top five?
Um, for Innosight, I really like how he like changes the chords and the scale, or he transposes his track very well. Let's just say that, and his sounds are very amazing and emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about it.
And Quartz by Sandberg, and again, the same question. Why was it something that you decided you had to include?
It's grooving. Sandbergen's beats are always grooving,
Yeah.
and there in 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 the middle of his chords track, there's actually this high frequency pluck thing that's very catchy. Y- you will know it when you listen to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shall play that for you now, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Audiotool Underground podcast show with me, your host, the Marquis, and my guest is Potasmic, and you just listened to Quartz by Sandbergen. So my next question for you now is, do you sit down and work solidly on a track, or do you flip back and forth between different drafts, or just over a period of a few days kind of thing, work on one track? That way, or is it just like a 6-hour block where you just sit down and get it done?
I absolutely don't jump between drafts. Well, if I work on a draft, I will work it to the end.
Right.
There are no multiple tracks and then finish them parallelly. No, not at all.
Okay. Do you have many drafts that are unfinished then, as a result of that, or is it more you have less drafts unfinished because of that? Do you reckon?
Lots of track unfinished. It many of them sound disgusting. Not disgusting, but like mediocre. Like
Yeah.
it's not great. Like it's not even great enough to publish as a joke or even anything at all.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Cool. So next question then, from Tottenhauser. Do you think the next person to be interviewed, so the next interviewee should be DB? I'm assuming Daniel Burjoin is.
Yep.
DB. And if not, who do you think the next guest should be?
Well, we actually have currently CG Man winning for the next month, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for October, I think that Daniel Burgoyne. How do I read his name?
I
DB.
personally,
Let's
yeah,
just say
DB.
DB. Yeah, decibels. Okay, yeah, decibels. DB is cool. So he have many techno tracks and this one that's actually inspired by John Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and South Carolina. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually a cool track, and I remixed it. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Cool.
I think
So, yeah. So you, yes, basically, you do think he'd get your vote in the next
Yep.
next vote. Okay.
October.
Okay. Cool. Again from Tottenhauser. It's up to you whether or not you want to answer this one. You may get a barrage of hate at some point. Who is the most annoying user?
Annoying user where
I'm assuming on Audiotool.
Audiotool. I can't say
I was
this.
gonna say that's a do or die question, that isn't it? It's a bit of puts you in a sticky
Do that,
situation.
yeah, indeed.
Cool. We'll skate over that
Uh,
question then.
Any spammer on my wall that say check my track, basically.
Speaking of check my track,
Just kidding. I mean, like, well, don't just put a single link there. Like, put some words like "hey" or something like that, and tell me how would I like the track, and not just like check my track. Like something about it.
speaking of check my track,
Yeah.
have you heard
Oh,
the
Infusion.
Infusion's track? Did you see that? You know when Andre recently did the
The 4-bar mashup.
4-bar
Yeah.
loop? That was one of the tracks he used,
Yep.
which I thought
Yep.
was fantastic.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
even though
his
it's a
rapping
joke, it is
actually
still
inspiring.
it is still a great track, even though it's
It's
a
a joke
joke.
track.
It's still really quite fantastic. Um,
I actually want to rap. It's kind of fun. It's like speaking up a social topic in a form of music.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we shall take another break, and I'm going to play Cicadia by Zavrock Beats. Any special reason this one stood out to you? As another track?
Absolutely. The melody in the drop, like the melody in the drop is absolutely amazing. It's freaking catchy. I love it a lot.
Okay.
It's very very catchy. Let me see. It's yeah. No, I haven't write down the minutes. Okay.
Okay, so we shall play that track and we will be back shortly. This is Cicadia by Zavrossi.
Isaac, and you're listening to the Audiotool Underground podcast show.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Audiotool Underground podcast show with me, your host Marquis, and my guest for this month is Potasmic. You just heard Cicadia by Zavrock Beats. So my next question for you then, Potasmic, is there an area of music production that you dread having to do? So halfway through a track and you go, oh no, I've got to EQ this, or oh, I've got to do this compression, or is it not the case really? Is everything just sort of an equal, oh great, I get to do this next, or that kind of thing?
I actually don't compress. I don't compress.
At all?
No, never. Like I only use the compressor for side chaining. I never compress.
Okay.
Well, oh yeah. So I actually level my track while doing it. Like it's getting more elements and it's getting loud, so I have to lower volumes of elements to see which should be quieter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
the mixing, you focus more on mixing than compressing,
compressing.
for example. Okay. So yeah, is
Mate, do you even compress?
um, so yeah, what I mean is there a part of the production process that you don't like doing, like sound design or EQing? Obviously, you don't compress, so compression's not really something that's an issue for you, or the mixing process or anything like that, or is it all just something you find enjoyable as a whole process as such?
Okay. Well, actually, there are no process that I actually hate, but it depends on the genre. So for like dubstep and pro step, and you have to think of many other sounds for the drop, and I hate that thing. But one thing I like about making music is when you have like a beginning of a great melody, and you just have to extend the melody more. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Sound designing is fairly okay. Yeah.
Okay. I did have another question, but I've already forgotten what it was. But never mind. So do you uh, have anything that you want to learn about the production, etc., or an area you wish to improve on, like melody writing or levels, EQing, or would you like to start compressing or anything like that?
uh, mm, well, that's one thing I like about Luxure is that he has made synth, and in his drops he uses his synths like one on another, like very uh, bonded to each other, and it's very cool. Like you have many synths and you combine it well with
Yeah,
each other.
with the
Yeah,
layering of synth
yeah,
kind of thing.
that's totally what I want to learn. Like complex tro.
Yeah,
It's all about that.
yeah. Okay. So another question from the community here, from Tottenhauser. What is your style? Do you only listen to electronic music? Are there other genres that inspire you? Obviously, you've mentioned doing techno, and you've got a couple of ambient tracks in there, and obviously your dubstep, bro type stuff as well. Um, is there a particular style and genre you listen to that you find that's what I want to make, or is it just a variety of things?
hmm well, I don't pursue ambient actually. Do you have you heard Pulse from Caps? Yeah, if that's ambient, then it was actually the style I want to pursue. But my ambient, the ambient that I've made, are usually boring, and I don't like it a lot. Uh, my style is actually I don't know. It's random.
Yeah. Okay. I've just remember the question I meant to ask you earlier while talking about the production stuff. Obviously, you've said so far that you'll think of a melody, say, and you write that melody down. Is that how you start most of your tracks? Melody first. Once you've got the melody, you then move on to other aspects, or is there a format basically that you use when creating a new track?
Well, I don't follow any procedure while making a track or when I start a track, but I think of a melody and then start it. Yeah, but this is why I like having a MIDI synth or maybe a piano, because you can figure the notes right next to your laptop and then switch and then write the notes onto your digital audio workstation. It's easier than to hum the sound and then point out the notes. It's more complicated.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Wow.
But basically, we'll move on to another track. I was going to ask another question, but yeah, we'll go to another track. So the next track you've got here is a track from a collaboration of
Five.
It's called Radiator by
Yeah.
Sandstrom, which is obviously Sandbergen and Astrom combined together.
Yep. Totally amazing. It's their one and only track.
Yeah. Anything in particular about the track that stood out to you, or was it just an obvious choice as such?
I haven't opened the track up, but I really like how this stutter synth and the melody and the chords are very nice, and it's techno. I know that they discuss about the snare of the track being a little bit off, but I think it's fine. It's fine enough.
Okay, so this is Radiator by Sandstrom. guys, and welcome back to the Audiotool Underground podcast show. Me, the Marquis, and my guest, Potasmic. You just heard Radiator by the collaboration account Sandstrom, which brings me straight on to my next question. Potasmic, is there quite an artist that you would love to collaborate with at all?
No, I don't think so. I don't have any. I don't know any artists that have some common in musical sense with me. So I'm not so sure, but maybe I can like collaborate randomly with anyone and have some random things done.
Yeah, well, if you look at some of the collaboration accounts that are on Audiotool, some of them are people you wouldn't necessarily expect to collaborate with. Like, I can't think of any off the top of my head now, but sometimes you get two artists who make very different styles of music, but come together and make something different from anything they've done before. So, say you have a techno artist and then you have a dubstep artist, and then they start making house, or they start making, well, I suppose that's quite similar to techno. They start making glitch hop, say, which is quite different from both genres. So you could find that kind of thing could be quite fun, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right. So I believe that is all of the questions that we have for you from both artists and myself alike. Just now, off there, we were both having a little chat about a variety of music styles that that can be produced, and people producing stuff outside their genre. Like I was saying that I like to produce things like drum and bass or dubstep to sort of goof off as such when I'm stuck in the production of whatever it is I'm producing at the moment, be it house, down tempo, or glitch hop, or whatever. And then I'll produce something that's outside the box. And do you do stuff like that as well, or?
You mean trying new genres?
Yeah, try new genres, experiment with different styles to see if there's something that you like, or even just that you're stuck in with a bit of music block as such, artist block, and feel like making something completely out of the box. Just when you come back to what you were doing, you've got some fresh ideas.
Well, I have been listening to Richard Devine, an artist that's not an audio tool, but he makes a lot of glitch sounds, and it's very interesting. And yeah, I actually I had some ideas about it, but I lost it all, and I'm not sure if I can create. I'm not sure if I can recreate it on audio tool because those glitches are. I think it's called granular synthesizing.
Yeah.
It's taking a sample and then using small part of it or something.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, I think so. You can
Yeah.
do stuff like that in Audiotool using Machinist and getting the start end points. So you just get
Yeah.
a really small point, and if you use the note reel, you can trigger that small point like 124ths.
Yeah. 28.
Yeah, 128ths. Sorry. And yeah, get them to do some interesting things. It's a cool way of making glitches. That's how I make a lot of glitch
Yeah.
sounds there.
I think the reservoir would be a good one to use.
Yeah.
The reservoir.
Yeah, because you can do
Yeah.
similar stuff with that as well, using the stop beat and the
Extremely
stutter.
stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find sometimes I quite like using two. So I'll have one that is stuttering something, and then I'll get another one to gate it separately to get it to glitch further, because it will take a section of the stuttering and glitch that as well. So you end up glitching a glitch, which can make some cool effects as well.
It's extremely nice.
Yeah, it can create weird sounds, and that's kind of what you want for some genres. Other genres, you want something quite clean. But yeah.
Put some reverb on.
Yeah, exactly. Add a bit of reverb, and you've got something that could be
Clean.
ambient and kind of cool. Are there any genres that you kind of want to try? Stuff that you've you've heard and gone, oh, I quite like the sound of that. Maybe I can give that a go.
You sometimes like beatbox, but you suck at beatbox, but like you try to beatbox out the melodies you have in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, sometimes I try to beatbox some complex show, and it's pretty cool. But when I get into Audiotool or any musical DAWs, it just gets nasty. Yeah, it doesn't sound like anything at all. So
Okay. Do you ever watch many tutorial videos and stuff? You know, whether they're audio tool ones or other things as well. You know, obviously some stuff
no,
transcends between doors and whatever. Do you ever watch any tutorials or listen to any tutorials or anything like that on music production?
well, I Audiotool is actually my first DAW. I tried to download FL once, and I tried to look up the tutorial, and I must say that Audiotool is much easier to get used with than FL. FL is actually hard to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you like look at things like, for example,
No,
yesterday I was looking at parallel compression,
no,
which
I
is
haven't looked at it.
no. Do you look at anything at all, or is it
Yeah,
just
no,
stuff
of
you
course, of
learn kind
course.
of thing?
I actually looked at the Wikipedia article for uh, what was it called? Overhead compression.
All right.
Something that never actually did the experiment on, like compressing something that you can't see in the future
Yeah.
of the sound. Yes.
Yeah, because we haven't got the compressor in Audiotool doesn't have a look ahead as such, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to
Look ahead.
you have to recreate it
Yeah.
somehow using Audiotool. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that actually. 'Cause that will come in quite useful with parallel compression because you need to look ahead. It's a similar sort of thing to multiband compression as well.
Yeah. I haven't looked up at it. I think multiband is basically splitting up the bands and then compress and then joining it, right?
Um, Yes, I don't know much about multi-band compression. From what I understand of parallel compression, if you use the return tracks, there's New York compression, sub compression, and then there's high-end compression
Wow.
as well. And you use the
Wow,
three of
with
them.
compress.
Yeah, quite a lot of compression. And you have these three return tracks, and on the New York compression, you get using either an EQ or we could use the slow patch. So you get a notch filter, put it dead center, so it's just allowing the highs and the lows to come through, and then compressing it really hard. So you need a fast look ahead, so like 10 milliseconds look ahead kind of thing. Ratio to about like 12 to 1, 15 to 1 kind of area. Threshold way down, and then attack
Infinity is
quite low,
one.
release quite high, so it doesn't allow much to come through. And then once you've done that, it will compress those lows and highs. Then you bring the send level up pre-fader, so that it's not particularly high, but it just basically it boosts the lows and the highs
The high.
in the compression stage separately, and then sends it back into the master track. And you do so that's the New York compression. Then you do a low and high end version of that. So you just separately do lows and highs. So if you want a snare to be punchier, you can just compress the highs a little bit more. If you want the bass kick to slam through on the sub end, you can do a little bit more on the lows.
The
But if
low.
you want it to be punchier at the top end, do a bit some on the highs. And then you can do some really cool movement type effects. Then with another one where you do it in the mids, but then you make weird filter shapes. So instead of just having your standard curve, you could do two notches or a notch with a bandpass type thing as well, so that you end up with on a camel with two humps. You've got that kind of shape.
Ah.
So you make that kind of shape, put that in the mids, compress those mids, and you get this really nasal kind of sound, which you can sweep that around a little bit and get some movement kind of thing in like a techno track, for example, or a house track. You get to a bit of a break and you just get this yeah, kind of in a club kind of feel to this
Oh.
track, and it can create some really cool things. I've just realised I've just taken over the interview there. But,
It's alright. It's alright. I'm actually looking at the Wikipedia article right now. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
because
cool.
I learned that from a tutorial yesterday from Mr. Bill, which if you haven't heard of him, go check him
Werner
out.
van Bell.
Mr. Bill
Is it him?
Hmm?
Is it Werner van Bell?
No, Mr. Bill. He's an
No.
Australian glitch hop artist.
So I don't know.
No, he's absolutely fantastic. He's one of my biggest inspirations at the moment.
I'll look into him.
Yeah, definitely. His production is fantastic. So even if you're not interested in his music style as such, the stuff you can learn from him is phenomenal. And he's just really kind of cool and laid back as well with the way he posts tutorials about stuff. But yeah, cool. We will stop there and play our last track from your selection. This is 5 AM by Infusion. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Audiotool Underground podcast show with me, the Marquis, and my guest this month is Potasmic. So we just heard 5 AM by Infusion. We've just been talking about, well, I say we've just been talking, I've basically been monologuing about parallel compression for a little bit. Is there anything that particularly interests you within music production? Like, do you find sound design particularly interesting? Do you find EQing interesting, or anything like that?
I actually enjoy how synthesizing works, like how the synth work, like how does the filter works, and envelopes and amplitude and decays, filters and stuff like that. Melodies are cool, but it's more expressive than interesting. Interesting, I would say, it would be more about the synthesizers and effects.
When you create a sound then, using your sound design, do you try and get the sound to be as close as possible when using the synth before adding any other effects? Or say you have a particular sound in mind, you start getting the effects out ready and start doing the whole thing like that?
Uh, uh, when wait.
So what I mean is, if you say you had a particular sound in mind, do you
Yes,
pull
I
up a
get what you
synth
mean.
out? Yeah.
But like when I think of a sound in my head, well, I don't know how close it would be when I do it on the synth. Like when I get to the point where you like, okay, this sound close enough, and you just have to tweak it a little bit more. Like
Mm.
like you have a bass, like a guitar bass, and you have to you have to tweak a bit of a decay or sustain in the filter envelope
Yeah.
or the cutoff. Yeah, it's something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, I would absolutely like grab in a tube, an exciter into those kind of basses just to boost up the low ends.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I've pretty much run out of questions and stuff like that. But basically, is there anything that that you wanted to to mention, bring up, or talk about, or anything like that, or well, anything at all, really? Um, yeah, I lost what I was going to
Like
say. I was
a
half.
topic, a topic.
Yeah, I had.
Ah,
Yeah,
well, let's just say that I'm really excited about things that are coming at the end of this year. Many new stuffs are gonna come to the Audiotool app.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you find most what are you most looking forward to? I guess with the coming developments.
Well, I'm looking forward to the HTML5 that brings the audio into another worker, which would make Audiotool super fast. Yeah, Andrew actually mentioned about this in a GitHub issue
Hmm.
about the the uh, the organization of W3C bringing the audio thread into another worker. So yeah, it would be interesting.
Okay. Cool. So I think we'll finish up there. Thank you very much for your time and for the interview. Um, it is looking like my next guest will hopefully be CB Man. If I can track him down and get him to agree to be interviewed.
The king of drum and bass. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely phenomenal neurofunk drum and bass. Well, and also some really quite nice shrans, if I pronounce that right.
Trance.
Yeah,
Have you ever tried to like emulate his sounds?
I have opened up his tracks and copied his sounds and then tried to sort of play with them. If that makes sense.
How did you how did you even like open his tracks up and play it? It's impossible
Yeah, what I tend to
for
do
me.
is he does label his tracks sometimes. the MIDI section on the note reel, not note reel, on the I can't even think what it's the timeline. So he labels
Yeah.
those. So his Heisenberg will have the name bass 1 or whatever. So you can tend to find which one it is. Or you can also get it from the notes. So I'll be playing the track in Audiotool, and then I'll work out what point the bass starts that I want, find the bass in the timeline, delete everything else, and just play the bass. And then once I've got that, I can then copy that into another project. And
See
then
how
I
it
can
works.
see how it works, try and reverse engineer it, or as is usually the case, just make adjustments to it and try and make my own thing using his sound, basically. And I do try and credit him wherever I've done stuff like that, because you feel like you're cheating otherwise, because it doesn't come up as a preset, because he doesn't make them
Absolutely.
presets, and it's basically stealing if you don't let him know. So I try and make sure people know it's not my sound, but I do try and create the sound separately. Have you done anything like that with other users as well?
No, in the past I used to look into Luxure tracks where when he did chip tunes and stuff. It's pretty cool, and also in fusion tracks in the past. But nowadays I don't open other people's tracks up.
No.
No, not really. Well, unless the track sounds really interesting, I would open it up. Otherwise, no.
So one of the reasons I'm quite looking forward to the live collaboration is because I've said about having a possibility of doing like a live collaboration type thing where you get to see somebody making a track real time, but you can't edit it. So it's just watching them make a track and seeing that process of sound design. I think will be fantastic, especially with certain users, like seeing Infusion,
Making his
Sandbergen,
track.
Alotro, Renza, and CG Man, seeing people like them making stuff would be phenomenal.
That's like live session, just like Dead Mouse doing his work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's similar to Dead Mouse.
Yeah. Seeing people do stuff like that is fantastic. So I am looking forward to having that kind of thing. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. So again, like I said earlier, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
And good luck with your coding and with your music in the future.
Thank
Wish
you.
you all the best. This is one of Potasmic tracks now. We will be playing CNC, which has already been mentioned, as it has absolutely phenomenal reverb, really well made. So this is CNC by Potasmic. Again, thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Walker here. You are listening to the Audiotool Underground Podcast Show.